The feeling that you feel in the beginning on Wellbutrin is quite different, like 6 months later. That is just another thing I think people don't really talk about, which is that Wellbutrin has some side effects that happen like in the first days and in the first weeks of taking it, and they change. And some couple months go by, you still use it and you feel differently. Some side effects stay, some side effects go away, some new ones can appear. And please note, I am not a doctor, not a medical professional or anything. Do your own research. I'm just sharing my experience, and not necessarily that it would be the same. Hi. Hello. Hi, kitty. It doesn't mean that your experience would be the same as mine. So please be careful with that. I'm going to do it like this. So I'm going to state the side effect and how it felt in the first weeks and the first days. And then right away, I'm going to say how I feel about this side effect like 6 months later. And I guess it's important to note that I have been taking Wellbutrin 300 milligrams a day. So, okay, now that we have all that out of the way, let's start with the side effects. So first, pretty soon you have very clear and very active mind. I remember that sometimes it felt like my thoughts just reached speed of light. I thought a lot about what I want to do. And it's not even about the energy, but your mindset and like your habits are so set in that inactivity and passiveness that you kind of start feeling weird about wanting to do some things. So it took a while for me to also switch from that mindset, that I gradually started doing things. 6 months later, I still have active mind. I am now myself being way more active with the things I do. But of course, I have to mention the Wellbutrin euphoria or Wellbutrin honeymoon phase that I spoke about in one of my previous videos, which was a thing that I didn't even know about, and it really bummed me out because when I started taking Wellbutrin, I felt on cloud 9 for like 2 weeks. I could do so much. I was active from the morning till evening, and I could like go on, and I thought that that's how my life is going to be. And then a couple of weeks later it stopped, and I started to feel tired again and some lethargy and stuff. But anyway, I go a little bit more in detail about this in my first and second video where I explain what actually happened. And I will only briefly mention here that euphoria can happen when you think that everything is going really great, and then a couple of weeks later you just it just stops. You don't feel that way anymore. You feel like your medication has stopped working, and that's a really dangerous moment to be in, because that's when you kind of think, okay, this is not working for me, therapy and medication is not working for me, I'm gonna quit. But no, you should not. Maybe I'm not as hyperactive as I was back then, but it's not an issue because it was a little bit over the top. Right now, I am very active. On some days I'm hyperactive, on some days I'm just active, and it's okay. And some days I try to, like chill, and it's also okay. So the next one is sensitivity to light, and also quick light contrast changes, for example, that can happen on TV. And especially if your TV is like on a larger side, your eyes can kind of feel quite sensitive if like a lot of action happens on the screen. Or sometimes I can feel a discomfort from the lamp that comes from the ceiling lamp. 6 months later, okay, moving on to the next one, muscle jerks. Basically, it means involuntary muscle movements that sometimes happen. And I think it might be connected with that Wellbutrin is kind of like a risk for people who have a history of seizures, but I have never had any seizure. These muscle jerks, they happen, but they are so small. And after a while, they happen less and less. And now, 6 months later, again, I have absolutely no muscle jerks. I am totally fine. Okay, next one. One of the things that I felt in the beginning, like in the first month, I think, of taking Wellbutrin, was this really weird feeling, and it happened only a few times. And I felt it like dizziness and the sudden pulsating noise in my ears that kind of like blocked my hearing and everything for like approximately 10-15 seconds, and I had to, maybe if I was walking somewhere or doing something, I had to maybe grab onto something to just, just like kind of wait it out because I knew that it's gonna go away. It was quite worrying in the beginning, but it happened kind of rare. And after that first month, it went away and it never came back. Okay, next one is about my sleep. I was hoping that Wellbutrin will work in a way that I would be like, doctors told me like it's a stimulating medication. So I was expecting that as I was taking it, that I would start waking up in the mornings being like energized and super active and ready to do things. But it didn't happen that way at all. And then I lost all hope to wake up in early mornings because that's been like a problem for me almost all my life. But my sleep schedule, my sleep problems is a completely different topic on of its own, and I might make a video about it in the future. So Wellbutrin did not do that for me in the first days or weeks. It took months for me. Like right now, 6 months later, I can say for sure that Wellbutrin has helped me to wake up every day with a clear head. I have no mental fog. I do not need like an hour just to, sit on the edge of the bed trying to talk myself into getting up and trying to prepare myself for the day. It doesn't happen. One more thing that I could mention here is that Wellbutrin probably might make you feel active also in the evenings. So discuss with your doctor that maybe you do need sleeping pills for some time. Okay, next one, also kind of connected to sleeping, which is very vivid dreams, very rarely nightmares. You do kind of have these actually, in my experience, on any antidepressants. Like every ones I took before Wellbutrin gave me, especially Zoloft, it gave me extremely vivid dreams and they were so weird. But with time, they just don't appear as often anymore. And it's sad, kind of. The most important side effect for me was and still is anger. Anger and irritability that I started feeling quite soon after taking Wellbutrin. I myself am not really an angry person. I am quite calm and patient mostly. But during this last year, when I was actively trying to understand my depression and reasons for it, I actually understood that I have a lot of repressed anger. I would say 20 years worth of anger I was carrying around with me. And at this point, when you start to realize it, you kind of understand that it's not anger anymore. It is just pure rage. And this is a topic that I would like to maybe make a different video about because there's a lot to speak about this and how I dealt with it. But you have to understand that taking Wellbutrin might make you really, really irritable, really angry. You might have the shortest fuse you've ever had in your life. And it's hard and difficult to experience, especially when you understand that that's not really you, but kind of it is you, because maybe Wellbutrin just really helps you to let all the anger out because that's healthy. Anger also is associated with energy and with motivation. And that's what people with depression are kind of after, right? Well, at least maybe I was. So I would suggest, from my experience, just give yourself a break. Maybe warn your loved ones or people you live with that you are taking this medication that potentially might make you have a really short fuse and you might be really easily irritated with things like small things, and you might not control yourself, and you will realize that that anger is natural, it's a part of yourself and you have to accept it, but it is very important to learn to control it. Okay, and then a couple more which I think people are super worried about. Usually it's weight. And I can say that I had absolutely no weight gain in the beginning of taking Wellbutrin. I think it was more of the opposite. I think I lost like a couple of kilograms. But after 6 months, just no weight gain, not really also weight loss. It really depends how you eat. And I'm kind of like staying in the neutral. And the last thing is, of course, sexual dysfunction. And Wellbutrin is known for being an antidepressant that doesn't really affect that. And I can say that it's quite the opposite. Like, Wellbutrin can make you really, really horny. And the good news, I guess, is it doesn't go away after 6 months. You still feel quite horny. So this effect actually can improve your sex life than worsen it. And what's important to remember that nothing really changes overnight. I mean, unless you have like a severe allergic reaction or something. You are in control of the process at all times. Everybody's different. If you feel really bad about this medication, just stop it. Do something else, talk to your doctor about other options. But if you feel some positive changes that happen and maybe some not so nice side effects in the beginning, just don't be discouraged. Those positive effects are probably going to be the ones that are going to change your life, change your mindset, change your level of activity, and the negative side effects could potentially disappear a couple of months later or a half a year later. So good luck, and I really hope this works out for you as it did for me. And if you have any questions or comments, just put them down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.